Hello, everyone. It's Leah Guzman here, and I'm super excited that you decided to join me today in the Creative Business Masterclass. This is an exciting subject for me. I've been doing a lot of research and studying the past, I want to say about 10 years now, of learning about marketing and, putting my gifts out into the world, but also supporting others and putting their gifts out into the world. So as we get started, I want to hear from you as well. I'm going to be teaching you some skills about how to bring in your clients, how to build community, and to show up consistently as well. So I would love to know, like, how come you joined us? It's like, are you an artist? Are you an art therapist? Are you wanting to start a business? Or do you have a business and you want to level it up? So if you could put that in the chat so I could see who's here, that would be wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, I don't see anything in the chat. So it would be wonderful to hear from you of your intention for showing up here. I think that would be great. Or maybe I just need to be patient. Okay, we got Christina. She's an artist. She has a charity and wants to be able to see the business aspects I may be able to apply. Okay, perfect. Yeah, definitely. That sounds wonderful. Because as I know what you like, where you're coming from and what your needs are, then I can also address that in this session. Angie's an art therapist in Ohio, where they just licensed us. I'm going to start telehealth in Canada, but want to start private practice here too. Okay, cool. Wonderful. Okay, so go ahead and continue adding who you are, what your goals are, what your intentions. I think that'd be important. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let me make this in presentation mode. All right, so how to make a ripple effect with your creative practices. This is a master class. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to find your ideal clients. If you're here because you want to have a business, amazing. And I understand for myself, working in the school systems for a while and then wanting to come online and being able to find the people who I want to work with creatives. I'm going to teach you how to find your people. Okay. I'm going to show you how to show up consistently without overwhelm. It's very, very important to create systems and things in place so that you feel good about what you're doing so you don't go into burnout mode. And we're also going to be talking about money. Money is so important. I think that you're here because when I talked about a business they make money, right? So it's really important to have a really healthy money mentality and getting to know your finances, getting to know your numbers, your relationship with money, and how much you want to charge and how you want to put yourself out there, because there is an investment part in all of that, right? It's an investment of yourself and learning new things, possibly putting yourself out there, stretching yourself in a way so that you can let people know about your offers and being able to put a money sign on those offers. Okay. So creating a ripple effect with your creative practice. So I see it as you put yourself out there and let people know what it is that you're offering, you will create a ripple effect, right? So this is to support you in making money in your creative practice. And also just really getting clear about, what it is that you're doing, right? It's like if you're an art therapist, you're like, oh yeah, I'm here to support people's emotional well-being, but more like what else? What are those offers, right? Are you doing a group? Are you doing individual? Are you doing like a membership? Are you writing books? Like, what are these offers that you want to create and put out into the world? Or even if you're an artist, same thing. Do you want to have classes? Do you want to, do private sessions? Either you're an artist or a therapist. There's different ways that you need to think about how you're going to package yourself, but also put yourself out into the world. Okay. So I'm going to see who else has, let me see if I can find the chat. Oh, we got a few more in the chat. Andrea says, I'm studying to be a creative arts therapist and looking into starting a business might look like. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Andrea, for looking into that now. I went to art school and I also got my master's in art therapy, and they didn't teach me any business skills or how to, have private practice or anything along those lines. So it's really important to educate yourself, and learn, which direction that you want to take, take your practice. Let's see. Tiffany says, I'm an artist with wellness business and I'm looking to involve art in my services. I'm looking forward to walking away with some tips that I can incorporate to acquire clients. Okay, cool. Asley says, I'm an artist from Istanbul, Turkey, giving mindfulness-based art courses, had art therapy education. Okay. Kimberly says she's starting art therapy courses soon when I start a self-care business in the near future. All right. Simone is a jewelry artist. And Barbara is working in domestic violence issues, a survivor of both. She wants to share what she's learned as art and impacted her healing in a positive way. And Victoria says, I'm curious about the possibilities as seen through your way of doing things. I really appreciate the tone and structures you have shown in your online offerings. Oh, thank you, Victoria. Very sweet. Yeah, so we will be talking about different ways to make money and having different money streams. I think that's really important, about getting clear about what your vision is and what you want to call in. Okay, cool. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a board certified art therapist. That means I went to school, got my master's in art therapy, and I've been practicing for over 20 years now. Can't believe that. I graduated in 2003. I've worked in the public school system and about, I want to say, geez, it was before COVID. I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, I started to coming online and showing up in a way to call in new clients, work with people in telehealth, but also just finding other avenues to reaching people, because I do believe that art is really powerful, especially in the healing process and transforming your life. So there was a point in my life, I want to say it was about 10 years ago, where I did have like a dark night of the soul, and meaning that I was in complete burnout. And I really was unhappy not with the people in my life. My kids were healthy, my husband's awesome, but I was just being more of a people pleaser. I was saying yes to everyone else and not saying yes to myself. So I had to get my own support. I actually went and saw an art therapist, and I got some clarity about what I really wanted and how I wanted to show up for myself. And I realized I needed to have a self-care practice because I wasn't practicing what I was preaching, right? So I started, putting my art in the forefront. I started practicing daily, and just knowing how powerful that was for me. I really, I started writing books. So my first one was a little children's book called Rad is Smad. And that got me thinking and putting myself out into the world online. And it got me writing other books. That's my next one was Essential Art Therapy Exercises, which has been translated into 6 different languages, which is amazing. We have The Art of Healing and Manifesting, which is my next book. And then the Anxiety Relief Activity book is, I created that one last year, and I have a new one coming out for kids, artist therapy with youth, in the next month. So it's like, wow, how did I do this, right? Like, how did I go from like complete burnout to being able to organize myself to put stuff out here, right, out into the world? Well, it's from that self-care practice, right? So like my morning routine, my night routines, being able to create a structure in my life where I could really get in touch with my intuition, get in touch with source so that I have that power to show up in a way to serve. And that's where the Creative Soul Society came from, my membership group, because I wanted to be able to, offer a place where other people can do that same thing so that they can tap into their gifts and share it with the world, right? That's how I see ripple effects of being able to, face your fears, because they will come up when you have a business, let me tell you. Whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's telling yourself you don't have the time or you don't have the money, all that stuff comes up. But when you can face those obstacles, face those fears, get a structure that's going to support you, you can do all those visions that you have. Okay. That helps you get in alignment, helps you get grounded, and then you can see those amazing things happen. Okay. So yeah, so I'm kind of curious, is anyone here wanting to write books? Is anyone here wanting to have a membership? Or I know one person said they wanted to do telehealth. Just kind of curious of putting it out there. You want to do courses? Oh, Talina says she's a burnt out teacher, turned to heal my own trauma, and I want to start sharing my art. Ah, beautiful. Love that. Yeah, so sometimes it's a process. Sometimes we have to, go through a dark period and be able to heal ourselves. And that's what I've noticed is once you do the healing work, then you're ready to show up and hold space for others. And Janelle said, yes to books. Okay, wonderful. So if you have specific questions, you are welcome to ask them in the chat. Okay, I am going to be presenting, but you're welcome to ask specific questions here. Okay, so getting clear on your vision, like what it looks like for you. Okay, because when we put ourselves out there, meaning that like we have to let people know what it is that we for one, like what it is our offer is, right? And how we want to co-create with people. So looking at what are their needs, and then how will you be able to serve, right? That's really, really important. So creating your own opportunities is also really important, of getting really clear about what it is that you want to put out there and who you want to call in. I'm just going to go back to the chat really quick. Courtney says she's interested in books and courses. And Kimberly says, I would like to write books in the future as well. Angie wants to lead an online art therapy session in the technical aspects. Okay, beautiful. Okay. So something I wanted to touch upon here is, as I'm talking, because I call this a business masterclass, meaning that whether you're an artist or if you're an art therapist or workshop facilitator or whatever your title is, you do need those business aspects, right? But I do want to make a difference, like a differentiation between the art therapy practice and the creative coach practice, because just because I'm in the field of art therapy and I want to respect that field, and I want to educate people about like what terms to use and what's appropriate and not appropriate. An art therapist is someone who receives a master's degree. Okay, they go and they get 2 years of their master's degree, and they can get credentialed with an ATR or an ATRBC. That means board certified, right? So they went through supervision hours to receive those credentials. Okay. And I know the reason I bring this up is because sometimes people say, oh, I want to do art groups and I want them to be art therapy. I get message DMs like this all the time in my Instagram. I'm like, well, technically, if you haven't done the schooling, you shouldn't be saying that you're doing art therapy. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. And sometimes people will say, oh, I'm doing art therapy if they're doing something all by themselves. And so the difference is that by saying that you're doing art therapy, it means that you're working with an art therapist. Okay. So I just want to be clear with that. That's where this is coming from. That's that relationship that you have with the therapist, right? That's what makes it art therapy. So it teaches you tool for emotional regulation, and it relates to your life, right? We're processing traumas, we're processing life situations, and we're trained to deal with suicidal ideation. So a lot of the mental health component. So as a creative coach, which is also a very important job, you can draw your life experiences into your sessions, right? So your story is your message, right? So you can call in people who maybe you have a substance use background, right? And you've gone through recovery and you want to do art groups. That's amazing. I actually have someone that participated in my Thriving Creative course, and she learned the business skills so that she now goes into her community and offers art workshops because that was part of her recovery and giving back. Okay. So I just want to let you know that it's not necessarily art therapy, but she is doing really powerful work in her community doing those art workshops. Okay. So a lot of times these creative coaches will call themselves, I've heard therapeutic artists, I've heard life coach, I've heard healer or guide or art facilitator, and they usually have an artistic background. Okay. So both of these, making art is incredibly beneficial, right? It reduces your cortisol levels, it makes you feel calm, releases dopamine, makes you feel good and satisfied. So both of these are really, really important, but they have different intentions, right? So our therapist is really for that deep dive healing work, and the creative coach is more, you can do some I would say healing work, but it's not necessarily the art therapy. Okay. So if you do have questions about that, I'm gonna look at my chat. Please ask. Oh, we have a music therapist here. Beautiful. Oh, and Angie's thanking me for doing the difference, knowing the difference between art therapy and artist therapy. You're welcome. Yeah, I think it's really important to identify that. And I do ask, people ask me if I teach art therapy. And I'm like, no, I don't teach art therapy. You have to get your master's in that. Okay. So finding your ideal clients. So I'm curious. We have a small group here. Do you all know who your ideal clients are? Curious. Put it in the chat. Who are you calling in? Who are your people? So we have some happy women here. Calling them in, right? So a part of this process is really, really knowing what the needs of your, like, who these people are, who you want to be calling in, what are their pain points, what are they struggling with? And then what your job is to have a service for them, right? Being able to provide a space or an offer or a course or a book so that they'll want to be a part of your world and learn from you. Okay. So it's really important to know your people, right? Where I feel that people get really, really stuck is that, especially creative business owners, they feel that they need to spend a lot of time on making their course, their product, their offer beautiful, their website beautiful. They have to get everything perfect before they can go find their people. And I want to tell you, do not do this. This is not how you create your business. Okay. You create your business, and I'm just telling you that this is from, I've done courses with Russell Brunson, who I think is a genius in marketing. And he talks about how you co-create to create your client, and to create your offers, right? So it's about being able to build your community and then finding out what it is that their wants and their needs are. And then you make your offer of like how you're able to support them. Okay. And I'll give you an example for what I've done. I'm going to just read real quick here. Let's see. Uh-oh, someone could mute themselves. Thank you. Yulia says, women who want to tap into their creativity and playfulness and step away from everyday chores. Andrea Smith is going to work with people with relational trauma, healing past trauma. Okay, Victoria wants to work with children's families and senior communities. And Christina wants makers who want to help elderly and domestic violence people, not just women, both men and women. Okay, beautiful. Okay. So I'll give you an example of, I'm going to stop share for a second. When I first wanted to come online and start connecting with others, I wasn't really quite sure where to go. And so Facebook is beautiful. Facebook, on my personal Facebook, I want to say I have a lot more creatives now that I'm friends with. But at that time, several years ago, I really didn't. I had like people that I knew from high school or college, or, they weren't really into the same things that I was in at that time, which I love the chakras. I love talking about art therapy and healing. But at that time, they weren't really on, the people on my Facebook personal page weren't interested in. So I created my Facebook group, Creative Soul Online Retreat. And this was a space where I wanted to just call in people, other creatives, to talk about what I was interested in. If you could go ahead and mute yourself, whoever is unmuted. Thank you. So I created this space so that the community could build, so that the community could have an opportunity to work together, right? And at first I would just show up to Facebook Lives and I would talk about various subjects. And then one of the community members in the membership in the group said, I would love to meet on Zoom and we could do this on, on a consistent basis. That's actually where the Creative Soul Society came from. I was like, well, if I'm going to show up, then I might as well make this a membership so that we can meet together and get to know each other, right? And I love my membership. I can't believe it. I've had it for 4 years now. It's pretty amazing. So I wanted to show you a success path, okay? So first, part of that success, I'm going to just read it to you, is building community. The next is getting really clear about what you're offering. The next is your marketing plan. And the number 4 is leveling up. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of these stages and how important they are in creating a business. And I'm going to ask you later if you're interested, but this does lead to a course that I offer. It's called the Thriving Creative Course, and we're going to be starting in November. And I can always, we dive deeper into this and how to create that structure. But what I wanted to let you know is when you build your community, you're calling in those people that are your ideal clients. You're really getting to know them, where they're at in their lives, what their interests are, so that you can co-create with them. It's so powerful to find out where they're at and then being able to meet their needs, right? So I've done this with my Facebook group, and then you continue to nurture, right? And you can do that through emails, you can do that through inspiring posts, things like that, and then show up in a consistent way. So part of building my community is I do free experiences. You probably might know me from my free experiences. I do the healing art retreats, and I'll do them 3 or 4 times a year. I've been doing them for several years now, and I just feel like it's just a powerful way to be able to reach people and let them kind of get a sample of like what you're about. And if they like what you're doing, right, then they want to work with you longer, right? They want to get to, like when people get to know you, like you, and trust you, they want to be a part of your world, okay? So that's part of the reason why I do the healing art retreat, so that I can reach new people and say, hey, come check this out. Come see what we're working on and what we're doing together, okay? Okay, so if you have any questions as I am discussing this, please ask in the chat and I will answer it. Yeah, Helen says you can't see my board. I didn't make it into just kind of using it for my reference. You don't really have to like see it. I'm just going to let you know. So this is about building community. That's like step one, right? Building your community. And you already have a community. I built my community in Facebook because I didn't really have a community where I live, and say specifically for the creatives that I wanted to call in. So it was like, I created mine online. But you might already be a part of a church, or you might be a part of a certain organization. I had mentioned Kristen, so she took my course, and so she already had her community. She had a connection of people that are in recovery with her, and she's like, oh, these are my people. This is where I want to offer my services, my offers, right? So you already might be already have that part, which is great. So that next part of having that community is your offers. Okay. And this is where I see a lot of creatives get stuck, and they want to sell like one thing, meaning they want to sell one painting, which is great. I mean, it's awesome to sell one painting. But the thing is, it's just one thing. And then that person goes away and goes about their life. So I'm just going to quote into Russell Brunson, because I think he gives a really great analogy about how to create an offer, is that you want to create a bundle, like make it a really sweet bundle, a really sweet package, so that you can be able to sell in multiple different ways, right? So for example, he's like, that selling that one painting, right, or selling that one art therapy session is kind of like going on a date. You go on a date with somebody, and it's like, oh, great, I had a nice time. That was wonderful. Thanks. Are you going to want to go out with them again? Maybe, I don't know. I don't see how good it was. But what if you gave them a package? What if you went on a date with someone, you said, hey, what if we go out on our date, and first we'll start off and we'll go out to dinner, and then we'll go to the movies, and then get ice cream, and then maybe we'll go for like a stroll, like down the beach or something, something fun. So Russell Brunson, he's like a marketing genius. I just love him. I think he's amazing. So how does that date sound? Like, to have those experiences, that sounds like you probably have a really good time, right? And you get to really know the person, versus one, like just going out to dinner, right? Or just going out to the movies where you wouldn't even talk to them, right? So being able to translate that into your services or into your products is an opportunity to really give more of yourself, more a gift to that person, so that they can really have that transformation, or learning, or whatever they're wanting to do in their lives, right? Whatever that need is. So really being able to learn how to create an offer that people are going to love, that's going to be irresistible, and they want to be a part of your world, and they want to be there consistently. So this is why I've even created a membership, right? So it's not like they just show up one time, because that's what happened to me. I was going online, I was doing these group classes, but then they would be gone the following month. And I was like, oh, I got to go find them again. But if I had a membership, it's that commitment that, hey, I can show up on a Saturday. I'm here. Would you like to join me? And I have a replay if you're not around, right? That I can show up consistently, and then your money shows up consistently, right? That's not like you're having to chase anything. It's just that people will come, and they come back. Okay. So this is where, as creatives, I see a lot of issues here, that people are not comfortable with their money, that there needs to be a lot of healing done. Okay. So if that's you, it's so important. Yes, Russell Brunson is the person I was referring to. Money is so important, because for one, you're asking for a certain price on your offer, right? You got to be comfortable with that price. You got to be comfortable saying what your price is. If you're uncomfortable with money, uncomfortable doing your budget, if you're uncomfortable asking for how much you're worth, then that could be an issue, because you have to invest in yourself, right? For other people to invest in you. You need to put the time in to be very clear about what those numbers are, right? Because you should have number goals. You should say, I want to make this much amount of money from my products or my services, right? You need to make a living, and you want to, you might want certain things in your life, and you deserve those things. So it's really about your self-worth and being able to put a price tag on something and feel really good about it. Okay. So money is one of those things that can be a blocker, but this is where, if it is, this is where you can do the work around it. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of show you a little bit like how this works. So for example, I create packages. I work individually online, and my package is $2,800. Okay. It's 14 sessions. So in that package, it has, you get a year of the Creative Soul Society membership. I give you my book. I also give you my Oracle deck. So it's a package, it's a little bundle, right? And so if I'm charging 2,800 and then I have 10 clients from my launch, because that's when I let people know when I'm calling in to work, then that's $28,000. Wow, right? So when we do the math, it's like, hey, that feels good. But what if I did that 4 times a year? So you go 28,000 times 4, that's $112,000, right? This is why we need to look at the numbers. It's like, okay, well, how do I want to show up, right? So this is all goes to a launch. So this is all about how to show up and how to create a launch. So Russell Brunson, with his teaching, the marketing courses that I've taken with him, he's all about a funnel, which is more of the level up, and I can talk about that in a little bit, so more advanced. But some of the people who take my courses, they are getting to that point so they can level up. So even going back to your offers and putting numbers, and this is why I love the idea of memberships, because it's that consistent money that can come in. So for example, say you want to take a trip, right? You want to go on vacation, right? We have needs. The traveling is important. So say that vacation is $5,000. You're like, oh, I need $5,000. How can I do that within a year? So we do the numbers, right? So if you're going to charge $40 for your class, your course, but you're not just going to do it one time, you do it on a consistent basis, right? Like I said, I had a membership. And say you had 12 people that pay for the full year, right? Not they just pay once a month, those $40. So 40 times 12 is $480 for 12 months. I'm sorry. At 480 times, and then you do it by 12 months, is $5,060 a year. So 40 times 12 is 480 a month. And then you times that by 12 months is 5,760. So it's fun. Like this is where money can become fun, right? Where the numbers can become fun. So I'm curious, how many of you here feel good about money, feel good about your offers? Where are we at here? Just kind of like you can put in the chat, well, I know what my offer is. I know what I'm charging. Like, where are you in this? Oh, Christina feels good. Lisa says she's a challenge with that. Okay. So yeah, so it's kind of looking at like where are we at, right? Where do we need clarity? Where do we need support, right? Valia says, I'm at the very beginning, not sure where to begin. Yeah. So it's looking at who your people are, calling them in community, kind of looking at what their needs are, creating those offers to meet their needs. And then you got to market it. All right. So we're going to talk about marketing now. Raquel says, I feel good about money. I feel struggle when it comes to marketing myself. The next step is marketing, right? Lisa says, I'm on the edge of launching membership and creating new courses. A lot to do as one person. Okay. And then Andrea says, I need to work on it, realizing I have something to offer. Oh, of course you have something to offer. Most definitely. Let's see, Tata says, money is not what I care per se, but I realize it's necessary to live according to my values. Yeah, money is important because money, I see it as like a neutral energy, but it's also an amplifier, meaning that there's an exchange. It's like if you're going to be offering something, having a number to it is an exchange of energy, and everything costs money. I mean, I have to pay Zoom to even have my account, right? So that you all could be here. There's different things in a business that you do have to invest in, and This is what I'm saying, like every time that I've invested in myself in a course or a mentor or, learning the business strategies, I've always been able to double it. Why? Because I take the information and I use it, right? So it's being able to stand up with confidence. And that's where marketing is really important, of being able to show up in a consistent way. I think the hardest part is that, like, when as creatives, at first you're showing up and nobody really cares, like they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But when you show up consistently, they're like, what is she talking about again? Oh, maybe I want some of that, right? That's what marketing is. Like you see those cute pair of shoes and you look at it and you like it. And then that's what those bots are. They come back at you everywhere you think. They come through your email, they'll come through your Instagram, they'll come through your Facebook. They're coming to show you those shoes because your brain, the psychology behind it, it needs to see it 10 to 12 times before it says, oh, wait, I need that in my life, right? So this is why marketing is important. This is why you have to show up in a consistent way to say, hey, what I'm offering is really important. Raquel says that she finds it challenging to show up consistently. Okay. So, marketing plan. Okay. So this goes with having that structure where you are letting your people know, who you are, what you're about. And this is where, like, when I'm talking about a launch, because I look at this as like a launch, because I do my launches every 3 months. So I'm doing them 4 times a year. And this is that opportunity to have those emails that go out. So I might have a launch to say, hey, come join me in this free experience. But then I'm also concludes with, I do have offerings. If you want to work with me one-on-one, if you want to be in my membership, there are different ways to work with me, right? So this is why emails are important. Emails are actually one of the most powerful money-making ways that you can bring in money, because people will see what you're offering and then they can schedule a call with you, or you can do your offers through your email. So emails are hugely important. I also find it the most challenging for creatives to do. So emails are really important. So it's creating a consistent plan, setting your schedule up, having a marketing calendar that you can set yourself up to talk about those needs of your clients, right? What are they struggling with? If they're feeling stuck in some way, or if you want to teach them a new creative technique, of being able to nurture them with those emails, right? Or it could be on your phone, those Instagram reels and things like that. Like, what is it that you showing up? So I create for myself, I do have a marketing calendar that keeps me on track to show up in a consistent way. So it's more about organizing yourself and saying, hey, what is it? What's important? What's this message that I want to put out there? And then creating that content and batching it. Okay. So you might be wondering, well, how do you do that? How do you do that? At first, I had to do it myself, right? That's how you learn. Sometimes you're just like, oh my goodness, I have to do this myself. I have to actually sit down. But I actually I've taken courses and I've gotten support, right? So meaning that, like, either like meeting with a coach or hiring an assistant so that I can meet with them and we brainstorm and we set up the calendar together, right? Those are ways that you could do it, right? So in my Creative Thriving course, we review all of this, of how to dive deeper into a marketing plan, how to dive deeper into your offers, how to build community. And the level up part, now this is where when you start to create teams, right? So it's really about hiring people to do the work for you. For example, I've got to level up, which I'm super excited about, where I partnered with someone that supports me in creating my content, as far as my Facebook ads, my emails, my flyers for the community, that does all my tech. So the team takes over that part that I used to have to do by myself, right? And you might say, oh, that just sounds so easy, right? You just get the team. But all of this is a stretch. The thing is, you have to go into your heart space and say, wow, this is what I'm going to do is really, really important, right? So you make your mission much bigger than your fear, right? Because anytime that you are investing in yourself, there's kind of a fear that comes up, and you got to stretch. You just say, you know what? I'm going to trust that this is going to work out. The things that sometimes I've done things they haven't worked out, and that's okay. I don't beat myself up. But I remember I used to have a lot of doubt, and that doubt is what stopped me. But then when I started showing up more, like that consistency, when you show up in action, that's when the confidence builds, right? So you show up consistently, that's that marketing plan. And then things start to align. So when I needed that help, that's when I was able to level up. Okay. The right people showed up on my life to say, hey, we can do this with you. We can work as a team together to make this happen. Right. So that's what the level up is. And this is where we can dive deeper into systems, right? And funnels. So if you don't know what a funnel is, this is what Russell Brunson teaches. It's about creating certain emails that nurture, email sequence that nurture your audience, and then also guide people in a way so that they feel connected to you and that you can be able to give your offer, right? So that you can have like upsells or different opportunities to work with you. So it also looks at like how to grow your membership, right? And keep your members. So a lot of this teaching is also with Stu McLaren, because Russell Brunson and Stu McLaren work together. If you guys are following Stu McLaren too, he's like the guru of memberships. So I'm kind of curious of, what questions come up when I ask about these: build community, offers, marketing, and leveling up. Okay, I'm going to read in the comments. I love your perspective. It is also about finding what works for you. I think I struggle with having really high expectations of myself. Yeah, so it's great to have high expectations of yourself, but you also don't want it to let you stop you, right? I remember when I had so much fear in just sending an email because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to spell something wrong. I'm going to miss something. Or I guess what? I have spelled something wrong. And you know how many people would write me back and tell me about that one word spelled wrong? And I was like, are you serious? But I'm like, it's okay. It wasn't the end of the world. I did mess up. It's all right. We move on. So, we do have these expectations that, we want to make things right, but I think it's better to continue showing up in a consistent way, and it gets easier. Can you speak to building trust? Yeah, Enid. So I think, building trust, it has to start within yourself. For me, my building trust is I took a manifesting class. Gosh, it's been about 8 years now. And I got to have an accountability partner. And interesting with the accountability partner was that we would meet once a week, and we go over a few things that we're working on, right? And we're still meeting to this day, which is pretty amazing. So the part of it was like, at first, I would just do it so that I'd tell that person that I did it. And then it changed, the dynamics changed, where I was doing it because I said I was going to do it. And I had that follow through. And when I had that follow through, that, oh my goodness, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it, power, the trust within me grew. I'm like, I can do this. I got this. So now with like trusting other people, right? So now I have a partner that I work with, and it's trust, right? It's like stretching, because you're like, there's a fear there. Like, well, what if this person doesn't do it right? Or what if we mess up? Or what if we don't have different views? But there's also a trust that my vision is pulling me through. And this person came on my path at the right time. And this is why I wanted to work with them, because that's the synergy, right? So I think that's the part of it is that you do take risk. I take risks when I do a launch. I invest money to do a launch. Will I get it back? I don't know. But I know that I said I was going to do it and I'm going to follow through with it. Right. So this is when I talk about trust, is that I just trust it's going to be working out. And I believe in source, and I know that source sees my vision too. And that's where I get my downloads and what is my next best step. That's what pulls me through. So I hope that answered your question, Eden. Tiffany said, I like to build a hybrid of an in-person online communities. Is this success plan mainly based on online communities? No, it's in both. I've had people who I work with that they want to, have businesses in person, and then sometimes they want to have businesses online, or sometimes they do hybrid. I'm going to show you, if it's okay, do you guys mind kind of learning a little bit about the Thriving Creative course? I could show you some testimonials of how people have worked with it. Are you okay if I show you a little bit? Yes, no? Yes, please. Okay, cool. Okay. I will share my screen and I'm just going to show you how people have worked with this concepts. And this is built on launching something, right? So if you're launching an online course, or if you're launching a membership, if you're launching a book, the launch is that putting it out there, right? And then how you put it out there. So that's what I teach in the Thriving Creative course. It's these steps which lead into a launch. So that's why I do my launches a few times, well, 4 times a year, so that I'm introducing my product, my services, my membership, those different things. Okay, let me go back to finding my little slideshow, and okay, share. That's a good slide. This is all about being seen, right? We're talking about marketing. So it's being a leader in your community. So it's looking at being able to do a launch, to be able to share your offers. You have to be a leader, and you want your uniqueness to come through. And you want to share your story of why this is important to you. Because like when I talk about my Creative Soul Society membership, I mean, that was based on my burnout. And I was like, you know what? If I can get through this, I can teach other people to do this. And this is why I created it. So that is making my mission bigger than my fear, right? Okay, so we've reviewed how to find your ideal clients, how to be a leader in your community, how to show up consistently, right? And making that game plan. Oh, right. So this is one of my clients. This is Jess Busby. This is one of her testimonials. She might even be here today. Jess actually works in private practice, and she works, so this is in person. She's not online. And she did my year-long business course. So part of my business course that I do is I have these mastermind groups. So for Saturday mornings, we meet for an hour and a half. They're like 8-week sessions. And so she did a year of this. So we met 3 times, 3 modules. So it means that we've been 8 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 weeks. So she did that. And then she got 14 individual sessions as well. So she did that the second year. So this is my second year working with her. It's really amazing to see how much she's grown as a person and as a therapist. And what's beautiful is that she was working actually, leave in a school system, and she wasn't happy, or maybe it was an agency. She wasn't happy with it, and she wanted to move to her private practice. And she has been really successful building her private practice. She's booked out, and now she's moving into building her membership. And she wants to work specifically with parents who are, have kids with autism, ADHD, and things like that, so that she can support them on their journey. So she's doing really, really awesome. And it's so great to be with her. She's going to be in our next round of our Thriving Creative course in our mastermind group, which is a lot of information. So this is Becca Bourne. You guys all might know her from the Creative Soul Society membership. She's one of my first members in the Creative Soul Society, which is awesome. So I've known her for a while, and she does a lot of the classes in the Creative Soul Society because I love her style. I love her accent. She's from the UK. And so she does painting classes in the UK. So this is all in person. She does do some online stuff, but primarily she goes to restaurants and she does painting parties. So she'll have like 20 to 40 people throughout the week where she does them at nighttime. And she also does, like I mentioned, she does groups in the Creative Soul Society too. So she has taken the course, and I remember when she was very scared to even send an email. And now she has her consistent email going out. She's been growing her list, and she's been really busy with her painting classes, which is awesome. This is Leanna Mantica. She is an art therapist as well. And she works in person, and she is working to build, she'd like to do a membership as well. So she's kind of in a period of setting herself up to create that next step. Because you know what? We come into these like courses and we kind of like, we have an idea, and sometimes we have to take the necessary steps to put our, build the foundation to make that next step. So she is building her foundation for her next step. So this is Kristen Francis. She is the one I was talking about before for doing art workshops for people in recovery. And she did the year membership, the year package, the year program, and she really wanted to be able to pay for what she signed up for. She's like, I'm doing this. So within like 3 months, she was able to start those classes and pay for the course that she's taking with me, but then make money off of that as well from going into her community and creating these art classes. So we created a whole curriculum for her to use so that she went into the community and felt really confident of doing this on a consistent basis. So she's continuing to do that. This is another art therapist, Heather, who, same thing, she works in person. She has a private practice, and she just wanted to feel confident in leading groups in her community because she was always worked one-on-one. And so she wanted to get a framework, an idea of how to build more groups in her community. Oh, so this goes into me talking about the Art of Healing and Manifesting program. So I'm going to tell you, I do a year-long business course for those of you who want more of that deep dive, meaning that you get to work with me a lot longer. You get to do the Thriving Creative course for the 3 rounds. And I usually will work art therapists who need supervision hours. So it's an opportunity for them to get their supervision hours as well, because they get to the individual sessions to go over their cases, and they get to be a part of the group and learn the business skills. So the course that I have coming up in November, it's going to be the first weekend of November. I believe that's the 2nd. I got to double check the date. But we meet on Saturday mornings for an hour and a half. And this is, I call it the mastermind or life coaching program. And this is where I teach these skills that I was talking about behind me, about building community, your offers, marketing plan, and leveling up. So this is our launch, getting really clear about our offers, and then how are we going to put this out into the world. So in this course, I teach for 45 minutes, and then we also have 45 minutes around robin where we're supporting each other for wherever you're at into that next step, right? So it was getting really clear about like what your goals are, your money goals, your big vision, like what is this? And then making that game plan to get there, okay? A part of this is you get to, if you're like wanting to, feel stronger in, presenting or, showing up online, I do offer that you can do the Creative Soul Society membership, maybe be a leader. I do have a lot of the people who have taken the course practice in the Creative Soul Society, which is amazing. And for those of you who do resonate with this course, I am giving it, like if you do the full year, you get a year of the membership. But if you want to do just like one round of our Thriving Creative course, I'm giving this as a bonus today. So you get coaching with me, which I think is important. I think one of the classes and courses that I've taken in the past, I think the most powerful component is that coaching, that one-on-one coaching that you get with someone. Because then you can kind of see where your blocks are and where you need to go. So you get that hand holding. So you do get that individual coaching with me. And some things that I have on my site. So the business course has a social media marketing plan with 100 ideas. So you could go through them of saying, hey, I'd like to talk about this or this or this. So it has a lot of ideas to start setting up your calendar, right? We discuss imposter syndrome. That's one of those things that will stop you. You don't feel like you're good enough, you're worthy enough. We go over how to tackle that procrastination, right? And we also can do the lesson plans and content. So like I'm saying, a lot of times we will sit and hash out your plan so that you feel confident and showing up for your community and then making your offers, right? We go over how to price your services. And then I have a resource guide of where to find clients and a checklist and an email layout. All these are important because this is what's going to set you up for your consistency. Okay, so who is this course for? It's for if you're an art therapist, if you're a coach, art facilitator, if you want to grow your business, private practice, if you want to write a book, course, memberships. So all of these, I mean, I think it's amazing because they're all interconnected, right? It's just like my book is interconnected with my Oracle deck, which is interconnected with the courses that I have online, my 21-day healing art journal. It also goes with my art of healing manifesting deck and the classes that I do in my membership. It's all interconnected. So everything that you offer is interconnected as well. So it's putting it all together and packaging it. So you're going to get accountability, you get clarity on how to package it, and gain confidence. Okay, I'm going to read here and see if anyone has questions. Yeah, what if you have fear of being seen? So this is the part where you can practice in our membership group of, if you want to be seen in a smaller community, you can practice in the Creative Soul Society. And there are techniques and tools that you can use in just starting to show up, right? Because you have to show up for yourself so that you can get your message out there. If I didn't show up today, or if I didn't show up for my retreats, then nobody would know what I'd have to offer, right? It's almost that you're doing a disservice. So showing up is going to benefit you, but it's also going to benefit those people that you're going to be serving. Okay. Lisa says, what if I'm an artist and not a licensed art therapist offering my unique classes? Well, you can be an artist and have classes. There's nothing wrong with that. You just can't say that you're doing art therapy because if you don't have the master's degree, then that's just the clarification of, you don't say that you're doing art therapy. Okay. So yeah, Lisa wants to create an offer to go with her book and her deck. That's so important. And we can do that in this course that I'm doing about how you can create a launch so that people can get a taster and also be able to get that bundle of what you're doing. So for the Art of Healing and Manifesting program, if you did a full year, meaning that you wanted to work with me for a full year, you would get 14 individual sessions with me. You would get the Thriving Creative course, 3 rounds of it. So every time that we meet for that 8-week little mastermind, you get to be a part of it, right? And it's fun because every time that we do it, we have different people. It's a different energy. It's a lot of fun. And then you get the Creative Soul Society for a year. And I will put the bonus of the 21-day healing art journal. Tata says, I'm a professional counselor. Does the society membership qualify me to practice art therapy? No, it does not. Yeah. So the Creative Soul Society membership is for self-care, right? It's a space for you to do your own healing work, your own work for yourself, right? It's not a qualifying, you have to get a master's degree to practice art therapy. Okay. So I'm putting some numbers here because you're like, how much does all this stuff cost, right? So if you're going to do the Creative Soul Society, which is $397 for the full year, if you did the 3 rounds of the creative course, which is $2,200, that's $6,600. You did the 14 individual sessions with me, that's $2,800. You did the journal, the art there, my course, the 21-day healing art journal, that's $333. You did my book and my deck, it's $88. And all those bonuses, $300. So all that, oh my gosh, is $10,000. Crazy, right? So what I've done is that I made it for $4,400, and then I made a monthly payment plan of $367. Okay. So I make it affordable so that you can work with me one-on-one, and then you can also do the group, and then you can also learn the techniques so that you can be making money within this next 3 months, right? The other thing that I offer, which is another opportunity, if you want to do 1 round of the Thriving Creative course that starts in November, that is it's 8 weeks. It's on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. Then this is $2,200 a month. And if you sign up today, I will give you the membership for a full year. Okay. And you get 2 individual sessions with me where we can brainstorm. So I also do a payment plan, and that's $220 a month. Okay. So whether you did the pay in full or did the 10-month, $220 a month, it's the same price. Okay. So this is where you're like, hey, is this important to me? Do I want to invest in myself? Right. So how much would you pay to learn marketing skills? You just have to ask yourself, is there a price tag for that? What would that be? And how much would you pay to learn to make amazing courses or membership or launch your book, your deck? Like what was that for you? What would you pay for that to learn those skills? And then how much would you pay to follow through with your goals? Like, what's the price on that? That feels really good, let me tell you, because I've done it. Like it feels really satisfying to say, hey, I'm going to do this. And then I follow through and it feels successful. Oh my goodness. It's a really good feeling. We'll see a question. So there's 2 choices here. One is you could do a full year, which I had put here. You get the 3 rounds of the Thriving Creative, which we start the first week, Saturday of November. You get the membership for a year, get the book, your deck, and you're going to get the payment plan, or you could pay in full. Those are the 2 things. You get the 14 individual sessions at any time, whenever you're ready to do those sessions. And the citrine package, which is also, that's just 1 round of the Thriving Creative. And the membership comes if you do it today, and then you can either do a pay in full or the payment plan, and you get 2 individual sessions. So I'm going to look at the questions. So if you're interested and you want to take advantage of the membership for the year, you can go to, this is the link, and I'll also show where you can sign up on my site. What again is for the full year monthly? Okay, I'm going to share, I'll share with you right now of where you can find it. I'm going to switch gears. Hold on. Let me stop share for a minute. I'm going to share here. So here's my site. It's leadresponsestudio.com, and it says create with me. So I have my art therapy services. I have the year program, which is the 4,400, or it's 367 for the monthly. Or if you want to just do the one round, that's the Thriving Creative course. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this, the one round, just so that you could see what this looks like. If you go to, you scroll down, you're going to see the benefits. You're also going to see testimonials from people. And if you click the sign up button, it'll take you to my product page. And this is where you can either do the pay in full or the monthly. And so this is the Manifesting Creative Business. And then this is the Thriving Creative course. So it's the same thing. It's pay in full or the payment plan. So I'll put the link here if this is something that you are wanting support with. If you want to work with me one-on-one to teach you the skills of how to do this. Okay, this is a little confused with the 3 times. Okay, so I do the Thriving Creative course like 3 times a year, right? So this is, we're going to October and November. It's basically 8 weeks, it's 2 months. So, oh, sorry, October. We're doing November, December. So we're going to start November and then it'll end in December. So then we'll do it again in the spring and then we'll do it again in the fall. So we just do it every 3 rounds. So if you did the full year with me, you get 3 rounds. That's what that means. How often do you offer the full year? Well, whenever I show up and do my art of healing retreat, usually after that is when I have that space, the next round of the Thriving Creative course. So when the Thriving Creative course up, you can either do the full year or you could do the 1 round. I've had people who bought the 1 round and then they end up buying the full year as well. Like they did the 1 round and then they were ready to do the full year. So it's however it works for you. All right, so I'm going to stop share. And any other questions that you might have? If you're on the fence, you are welcome to schedule a consultation. I could put my consultation link as well. I'm actually going to be sending an email with the replay, and I'll put the consultation link. But if you do want to, join us in November, you feel like this is a good fit for you, and you want support in any of these components, such as building community offers, marketing, leveling up, that's what we're going to be diving deeper in. Obviously, I can't do that in an hour, so we'll have 8 weeks to set you up, okay, and dive deeper. All right. Oh, I'm not quite sure, Ingrid. I'd have to get back to you on that because I'm not quite sure about the Europe and Australia credit card. All right. You are so welcome. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Any questions come up, let me know. Okay. Bye-bye.